and welcome to Talking to the Void. This is where me, Steven Santana, talks to nobody in particular, just about the video game and pop culture type news stuff that's happening in the world that I care about, and I'll just tell you why I care about it, and you'll listen to it. Why? Because I really don't know. It's just the thing that people do on YouTube for some reason. So, starting out on that promising note, Axiom Verge, which is a Metroidvania-like game focusing on glitches that was playable at the PlayStation Experience, and I played a bit of it and enjoyed my time with it, is going to be releasing on March 31st for the PlayStation 4. This game is also going to be coming to the PlayStation Vita, though there is no timetable on when that's going to be happening. But it'll happen eventually. And the next in the news, you have TwitchCon, which is Twitch, the live stream service that was bought by Amazon last year for almost $1 billion. They're going to be hosting their very own convention in San Francisco during September 25th and 26th, so over the weekend. This is pretty cool because it's kind of continuing the trend of these new conventions that are appearing everywhere. They had the PlayStation Experience, which was a totally new convention that happened over the weekend in Las Vegas that I got to attend. And then there's also PAX South, which happened for the first time this year as well, which was a very nice, kind of smaller convention where it's much more personal. A lot of the conventions are just overblown and huge, and everyone who attends and is like on staff there complains about it because it's too big. And so hopefully with all of these different conventions popping up, it'll segment the convention staff, or not the convention staff, the convention like popularity. So like instead of everyone always going to say Comic-Con or something, it will kind of spread them out so that it's much more different, much more varied, and much more smaller and personal type of conventions. At least that's what I hope it is, because big conventions don't sound that great, especially not when you're sick or you're prone to getting sick. Next up in the news is A Legacy of Kain, a project basically for a sequel to The Legacy of Kain, was leaked online, about 32 minutes of gameplay of it. And I watched a bit of it. It was very confusing. Obviously it wasn't finished yet, so it looked very rough. But I was never really a big fan of Legacy of Kain, but it is sad to hear that the staff who worked on it and were very passionate about it, and then the higher-ups kind of knew that it was never going to materialize and it was already canceled, but they continued to let the underlings like work on it. So that was a little, kind of sucky, and Square Enix cut the cord. They're the publisher for it, and I believe they own the rights to Legacy of Kain. I could be wrong, but yeah, Square Enix kind of pulled the plug because they knew it wasn't going to make as much money as they thought, which they have a problem with because they did that with Tomb Raider, which was actually very successful, as well as Hitman Absolution, which was also actually pretty successful as well. It didn't meet their financial goals, which is always a weird thing for video game publishers and developers. So other than that, The Order 1886, which I've been playing actually, as you can see in the background, topped the sales charts in the UK, which isn't that surprising, especially because of all of the hype behind this game. And not even like hype as in people are excited for this game. The hype as in people would go onto every story that had The Order and would comment on it about either ripping it apart because, oh, it's too short, it's $60, or defending it, or just having stupid arguments like people in the comments always do. Every story about this game had like thousands of comments, which made it really popular. And so it kind of proves the point of there is no such thing as bad press. All press is good press. Even though The Order got, crapped on a lot because of its, short length and the mediocre reviews that came out on the Thursday before release, it didn't matter. It still sold a lot. And so it'll be interesting to see at the end of February to see where it stands on the, the NPD list, as well as the, I'm sure it'll be number one on like the PlayStation Store list that they put out after every month, but also just on the NPD overall of like how much did it sell. So I bought it because I'm interested in it, and I kind of want to ride off of the train of popularity that it's going on. So I want to talk about it and write and do videos stuff on it because it's it's very popular. So it's nice to try to jump on that. Anyway, Kanye West is apparently working on a video game. Now, this isn't super surprising since Kim Kardashian had her own video game, which was actually really popular and made her a lot of money. But his inspiration is a little weird because it's based on his mom, who is apparently dying, or is dead. I forget which. No offense to Kanye. But he said it's going to be about his mother going through the gates of heaven, and the player has to bring her to the highest gate by holding her to the light. And it's just like, okay, this is going to be a mobile game, most likely. And as we know, mobile games are just littered with microtransactions. And so the first thing that popped in my mind when I read his inspiration of like what the gameplay is going to be is that you're going to have like these different things where you can push her higher up only for $5. You know, you can pay for, you can have the wings of an angel for $10 for 1 hour. It's like, I don't know. It's really weird that he's making a game based on this sort of premise, and that it's going to be a mobile game where there will be different features locked behind a paywall based on lifting your mother into heaven. It's very strange. Other than, last two things is the Oscars occurred. Birdman won Best Picture, which is good because Birdman was really good, but The Grand Budapest was still my favorite game, or my favorite movie of last year. And The Grand Budapest did win quite a few Oscars as well. I believe both Birdman and Grand Budapest tied for the most amount of Oscars, which is good because they were both really good movies. And I didn't see every movie that was nominated for different things or Best Picture and that type of stuff, but I think I saw actually a pretty good amount of movies last year. The PlayStation Europe boss, this is the last news story, doesn't know when there will be a free version of Drive Club, which was promised at the PlayStation 4 reveal event over 2 years ago now. It was 2 years ago that we basically had the first information on the PlayStation 4, which was Drive Club, which was going to be a launch game. Didn't end up being a launch game. It ended up launching a year later in October of 2014 instead. And when it launched, it was kind of broken. And it still kind of is apparently, and the new free version might not ever come out. So Sony should really just let this die like it should let The Last Guardian die, which it kind of did when it let the trademark expire. But really, the way that they just keep talking about this, it's just a train wreck. Just put it down. Just bring it out back and put it down. It's done. It's over. So yeah, other than that, I've been playing, I finished Jungle Rumble, which is a mobile game that was ported to the Vita. It's about, a bunch of monkeys, and it's like a rhythm RTS strategy title. Well, I would describe it more as a rhythm puzzle strategy title. It's entertaining enough. I'll write a review for it for Current Digital Magazine, which you can go and read at Current Digital Mag. And so I'll be writing a review on that, and then I'm playing The Order. I'm about 3 hours in, I want to say, like 3 or 4 chapters in, and it's pretty standard. Like, I'm not that impressed. I wasn't actually, I didn't go into it thinking I was going to be amazed or blown away anyway. I read all the reviews when the reviews came out, so I kind of knew it wasn't going to be this revolution, but it also hasn't been as bad as some people say it is, although then again, they aren't really saying it's bad, they're just kind of saying it's okay and mediocre. And so far, I'm pretty much leaning towards it's just okay. The shooting is fine, it's serviceable, the graphics are gorgeous, yes, but graphics aren't that big of a deal to me. And the story is intriguing, but because I'm so early, I can't make judgments based on the plot or the world yet, since the characters in the plot itself hasn't developed or reached its conclusion. So once it's over, of course, I'll talk more in depth about it, but right now it's fine. It's serviceable. The beginning I liked. The beginning, it was intriguing. The way they set it up, kind of. Some of it was kind of dumb and cliche, but other parts of it I liked it. And so I'm hoping that it goes back to that, because right now it's kind of like in this weird mystery. I'm not even quite sure what's going on. There's like this rebellion, but they don't really set it up that well. I don't know. I'm gonna stop talking about it because it's just, I don't know. I guess maybe I just need to spend more time, or maybe they just never explain it. Who knows? But yeah, so that's it for today's Talking to the Void. I also did a separate one, a special edition, you could call it, on my trip to San Francisco, so you can go watch that and watch me talk about all the different things I did, like touring the IGN office and drinking too much, maybe, and also my weird dreams that I have sometimes. Yeah, you can go watch that, and you can check out everything Illustrious Magic does at illustriousmagic.com. Links there go to the podcast, to the YouTube, to the SoundCloud, to all the different things that we're doing. And then you can follow me on Twitter at @8Axel. And last but not least, thank you for watching.